measure of a man is not how he acts when shit is all good, but it's how he acts when shit done popped off and he's left with $1 million worth of ashes and his cock in his hand. That's not a direct quote. Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody? You have now tuned in to my Starz freaking power recap. Guys, make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet done so, and share this video wherever you like to share video. So shout out to Michelle J, who was like, hey, y'all remember the interview Olivia asked Tasha about her ring? Where is Ghost's ring? He never wore a ring. Remember, Ghost found earrings in Silver apartment. Might be earrings Holly stole, or maybe Ghost knows something up. He was looking funny. Yes. Even when he is in the office with Proctor and Tommy was talking to him. Now he really sees Tasha Silver have a connection. They don't need him no more. But Tasha might gonna leave him, Ghost, but things gonna take a turn. Girl! That's, or whoever this is, Michelle. Let me tell you. That's the same thing I was thinking, because the way that he looked when he picked up the earring, it was just kind of real funny style. You know what I mean? And maybe it could have been the same earrings that Holly had, but I think Holly had diamond earrings. Those rings look like they was just regular white gold earrings, so I don't know. But the way he kind of picked it up, it was kind of like he knew something. I peeped that. Alright, so M. Canero said, hi Samore, love your reviews. Do you think Bailey case will be closed and they will assume Mike Sandoval killed him to cover himself? I'm kind of thinking that because they're not really talking about it. But then again, they just recently confirmed that he was dead and stuff. So I don't know how it's going to go. This could be interesting to watch because, I mean, it could take a turn for the worse if they were to keep it up. And then they can kind of start looking at Proctor and who else, you know, he might have been talking to, you know. So, you know, they be having all those towers and they be looking at the pings and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting to see how that's going to turn out. I'm kind of thinking, it looks like they might just sweep it under the rug, but you never know with this show. Sometimes they just do things out the blue, like stuff that happened in this episode. Now let's talk about it. So now Ghost and Tyriq, they have a heart-to-heart. He tells him how proud he is of him. And, you know, he feels like he's doing the right things. But little does he know that this dude is out here robbing people and he's still hanging with criminals. He tells him that, well, he kind of asks his father, like, do you think that Kanan's going to come try to kill us? And he's like, nah, he don't think so, or whatever. But, you know, because if he does that, then that's going to kind of take them down. They kind of have, like, this alliance, you know, thing going on right now. Angela and her sister are together because her sister's worried about her since, you know, she pretty much almost got murdered by Mike. So I guess her sister's staying with her for a little while or whatever. But, you know, it could be an inconvenience when you're used to living alone and then all of a sudden somebody comes to live with you. I mean, even though she was willing to try it with Ghost, that's because that's her man, you know, she loves him, she was willing to try to make it work. But her sister, she's like, you know, you got your own house, your own issues, whatever, and I think that's what it is, like she just really just wants to be alone. So her sister just tell her that she's happy that Mike is gone now. So Tommy, he's talking to Toressi, and Toressi tells him that he's Sicilian, you know, just kind of telling him a little bit about his background that he never really know. He's like, oh, you know, that's the reason why I love me some pasta and pizza and all them things, you know. Like, he's starting to learn a lot more about himself, and he really likes it. I feel like he's starting to feel like he belongs somewhere, especially now that it's like everybody's kind of like abandoning him, and he's kind of like on his own. He tells him that he wants him to meet him to come to the jail, and he's like, you know, I can't really do that because I got felonies and things like that. They ain't gonna let me in. He was like, well, if you could prove that you're family, then yeah, they would allow you to. He was like, you gotta get it from your mother because your mother's the one who has stuff. Andre, he has a little meeting with, what's the dude's name? I think Chris, and what you call it? Like, and he has a meeting with the crew. He's still ready to take down Tommy. I mean, that's his whole life goal right now. Kanan, he's hitting him up like, yo, you little light-skinned dude, we need to talk or whatever. So he's not letting him go so easily. He still has a little hold on him, so he's going to make sure that he keeps in touch pretty much. Now, Angela, she has a meeting with the new head of the department, who's a black female named Tamika. And she wants Angela to be a leader in the force, but yet she didn't want her to be like the actual official leader. She was like, she wants to be the head of the criminal department. And she was like, she don't really think she could do that. She was like, who do you think she should pick? John or Sax? And she's like, but you should pick me. And she's like, if you were me, would you pick you? You know, like, I don't know if that would be such a good idea. Jamie, he has a little interview, and it's funny because in his interview, he mentioned Angela. He didn't necessarily say her name, but he was like, there was a young lady who got an opportunity to go to this elite school, and she got a scholarship, and I was left here to fend for myself. And, you know, putting yourself on TV, it allows for everybody to see you, and it's crazy because somebody that he had captured at one point with the whole drug game, one of the Mexican, I think she was Mexican, a Mexican girlfriend or something like that. I think she was the girlfriend. I'm trying to go back in the memory banks. But she ended up seeing him on TV, and she looked like she did doodle on her pants when she saw him on TV. So it's interesting to see how that's going to play out. Like, if she's going to tell people that she's seen him, or what exactly is going to happen with that. Or if that was just something we saw and that was it. But I think that everything that happens here happens for a reason, and it kind of ties into something else. So it's kind of interesting to see how that's going to tie into things. So now Tasha, she's still doing her thing with Silver, and she tells him that she plans to leave James, and like once his whole business pops off, she plans to leave him and just kind of invest her money into the weave shop with her friend Lakeisha, and also with the money that he's making as well, do some of that, invest it, and just kind of open up her own business and do her thing. So she has a plan. It's crazy how, like, she wasn't seeing any other way except the drug game until now. Pretty much everything hit the fan, and she saw how it is to be at rock bottom. Now that she got a clean dude who's actually like working with the law, and now she thinking about going legit. Like, this is what it took before you told Ghost not to follow his dreams because you saw him being the biggest drug dealer in America, and that's all you could see him doing. Well, New York City, and that's all you could see him doing. And now you thinking about going legit. It's funny how people will try to like bring down your dreams, squash it for their own personal gain, personal interest. But if they do it, it's like, it's all good. It's okay. Because they've seen the light. Like, F out of here. Like, you mad phony? This is the reason why I don't really like her. Because, like, I feel like she just dragged him down a lot of time. Like, yes, a lot of people love her because she's loyal for him. She was riding with him from the beginning. She did so much for him. But at the end of the day, when he wanted to excel and do better, Angela was the only one that was willing to, like, push him and make him be a better person. You know what I mean? Like, it's not all about making fast money and about the drug game, especially when you got kids involved. She didn't see the dark side of things. She was only seeing the good, lavish life, and that's what she was loving. Yeah, and it's funny because Silver also asked her, he brought up the fact that when he told her about where Mike was being held, and less than 24 hours later, it just so happens that he gets murdered. Like, does she know anything about that? And she just was like, no. Like, he was a wanted man. He was a crooked cop. And probably somebody wanted to take him down. Because, to be honest, she didn't know anything about what Ghost and Tommy had implemented. How they got somebody to kind of take him down. So Stern, he tells James that he's about to be the new favorite black. And I'm just like, yo, this dude is straight up so freaking racist. Like, it just sickens me to hear him even speak. But I feel like James is really trying to play his cards right and do what he needs to do to get to the top. You know, kind of like play with the devil a little bit so that he can get where he needs to go. And then kind of find ways to drop him. But it's crazy how all these dudes that's at the top is just like so scamish, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. So yeah, Stern, he doesn't necessarily now want to be a silent, super silent partner. He wants to be at the forefront because he feels like him working with Tate is bad news. It's too much Afrocentricness going down, and he got to put a little bit of white chocolate up in there. You know what I mean? He got throw a little bit of whiteness into the mix. A little bit of frosting. Vanilla frosting. Alright. So Tommy, he goes to see his mother. She gives him the birth certificate. But he's like, nah, this is not what I need. He's like, Toressi told me that you have some kind of proof. He dead up smashes like her prized possession dolls that she had. Like some keepsake dolls. Smashes one of them. Then he like goes up to her like he about to kill her or something. I'm like, yo, you about to really kill your mother? Like, the person who pushed you out of the coochie? Like, that's OD. What are you doing? He, like, puts his hand around her neck. He didn't really, like, squeeze or nothing, but he was just like, she's like, a mother's boy is gonna, you wouldn't hurt me. He was like, what do you think happened to Holly? She was shut after that, like, damn, like, he did kind of love Holly, and she's gone. All right, let me shut up. She told him exactly where the paperwork he needed was, the original birth certificate. So he seems like he was even more hurt by that because he saw the fact that Toressi signed for him. Toressi gave him his last name. Toressi was at the hospital. He was just like, oh, you kept all of this from me? And she's like, he wanted to take you. He wanted to give you to take you for him and his wife because his wife couldn't have any kids. And you're my kid. I mean, saying it like that, but I feel like she should have told him years ago, you know, had a heart to heart, because that probably would have stopped all this from happening. But then he would have kind of went and tried to find out more. But he probably could have had 2 families instead of 1. But, you know, because she wasn't the best mother at all from all the things that he said. Like, you know, just her being on drugs and just, she keeps herself up good, but, I mean, she probably had a lot of bad. And even I remember Tasha had even mentioned that. No, Angela had mentioned that when he was in jail, she was mentioning all the bad things that he had to endure as a kid with the mother that he had. So he might have had a better life. He might have turned out a little bit different. But then again, it's like his father's a drug lord. You know, he's like a Sicilian drug lord. So how good could he have turned out? I mean, the only good that could have came out of it, probably if he would have had that mother, he probably would have felt a lot more love. Maybe he would have stayed out the streets. But then it's like your father's a certain type of way, you would have seen that lifestyle. So it's like almost like he was destined to be the way that he is, you know? Maybe he would have stayed off of the crack. That probably would have been the only difference. Or crack or coke, whatever the hell this stuff is. But I feel like I forgot her name now, but I feel like Toressi's wife probably would have been pretty good, because she seems like she's a tough lady, but she also seems like she got it together, you know? Although she's sick now. So yeah, at least Tyriq, he's now free because the cop dude, he killed the same cop that used to hang out with Jukebox. I think his name is Rara or Riri. I think it's Rara. He ends up killing the same dudes that was trying to get at Tyriq. So that's kind of like cleared up. He's free right now. Andre goes to the shop and he burns it down with that Hispanic dude. And when he meets up with Tommy, he pretends he doesn't know what happened. Like, it was the Jimenez that did it. So, of course, Tommy's pissed off. And, you know, he's ready to, like, retaliate, do whatever he needs to do. The same crooked officer, he goes to see Tyriq at his school, but he wasn't there. So the principal, she goes to Raina, and she's like, oh, this cop, he's looking for he's looking for your brother. Have you seen him? He was like, no, he's not here. And she kind of looks skeptical, like, is he in trouble? Like, why is he here? And he's like, no, I just wanted to have a little talk with him. So things just wasn't seeming right. Later on, Raina did tell Tyriq when she saw him. Tyriq was just happened to be hanging out with his little boo thing, that girl. And she pretty much giving him that lean because that's what he's like fiending for right now. And Raina, when she finally does see him later on that day or whatever, she tells him that the cop was looking for him. And he was like, oh, well, make sure you don't say nothing to mom or dad. Like, I'm really serious. That's going to make it worse. He was just like, that's juke, the people that kidnapped me. That's he was running with them. And just don't tell them anything. So she agrees. She promises not to say anything. So this chick, she ends up calling, well, it's funny because he wanted her to go to like his little dance or whatever, but she didn't want to go because she felt like she wasn't fancy enough. I feel like she just kind of has that hood mentality, and she just felt like she don't really have anything to wear to something so fancy because he goes to like an elite, top class school in Manhattan. So it's like, nah, like I can't come the way I would come to something like that. But at least it was nice that he invited her. And later on, she calls him, starts asking him questions about the shooting and all that stuff. And she's like, I'm your girl. You're supposed to tell me stuff like that. You're not supposed to hold stuff out. But if I was him, like, he wasn't even being smart. Because it's like, how do you even know any of this stuff, Like, why are you asking me that? He tried to be, like, on some, nah, it's not even that serious type of thing. But she just kind of was like, nah, but I'm your girl. You're supposed to tell me. So then he starts telling her. And, of course, Rara was right there like, oh, thanks, little cousin. So I guess they actually family. And he knows that this dude is willing to snitch. I think he wanted to see, like, how loyal this dude was. He's like, wow, like, he snitched up for you. All right. She looked like she felt really bad about it, but she already effed up. I mean, she already know what's about to go down now. Tasha, she meets up with Lakeisha and she tells her that she's about to go legit. She wants to, like, really just, like, help her out with that weave business. She wants to do this and that. I just feel like she's kind of, once again, taking over something that Lakeisha loves and something that belongs to Lakeisha. Like, now, all of a sudden, she wants to, like, be a partner. Like, like, why she can't have something for herself? And that's the same thing Lakeisha had said before. Like, she's a really good friend, but it's like everything that she has, Tasha always wants to take it from her. So she also, later on, she tells Tommy that she wants to go legit and he can't run the money through the weave salon anymore. And Lakeisha's not really feeling him because of what he did to her. And when she asked him to have her back, he said he would. But at the end of the day, he didn't. So he's just like, he ends up going to see Lakeisha, trying to get her back in good graces. But she just wasn't with it. She was just like, nah, like, who do you think I am? She's like, nah, that's not who I am. I'm not about to be that chick that goes back to you, allows you to get back in, and then you just do the same thing all over again. Nah, I'm not with it. And she just, like, straight up walks away. And that's sometimes, that was like a life lesson right there. I really like that because that's what you gotta do sometimes. Because these dudes or these chicks, like, it doesn't matter because chicks could do it too. Whoever it is, they can just keep on playing the same game. You let them back in. They give you that good apology, that good D or whatever, that good pum-pum, and you get back into it, and then they end up doing the same thing. And it's just like a constant cycle because you're so much in love with them that you ain't even thinking clearly. All you want is to keep them by your side. You do anything for them, and what they do, they just be out. It's messed up, but that's how it be happening sometimes. Now, Tasha, meanwhile, while what's his name ends up going to the gala. Sorry, my leg was itching. The Ghost ends up going to this gala that they're having for, like, the criminal defense attorneys and just, like, a big thing for anybody that's, like, in law in New York. He ends up going, and Tasha, she's with Silver, you know, having a good time at his house. And he actually could have went, but he chose not to because he wanted to be with her. And she was like that he won't really miss her because he's just over there smiling and doing his thing. He's going to forget that she was even invited. So while he's there, he ends up seeing Angela. And of course, you know, he's getting the googly eyes. But she tells him to wait a minute. Like, don't even say nothing to her because her new boss was talking. Her new boss gives a little speech and she introduces the head of the defense committee or defense whatever. The defense for New York City. And John was sure that it was going to be him. Like, he even told Angela at one point, he came to her house and mentioned that it was going to be him. And what happens? It ends up being Angela. So, you know, she gives a little speech and everything. Stern, he lets James know that the contract was corrected because he was trying to pretty much F him over, but Tate had mentioned at the little board meeting that they were having that there were some little discrepancies in the contract. So he had to go ahead and rearrange it. He was trying to like scam him on the deep end. You know, he put it as Jamie was the 51% holder, but then like the money that he would be getting back would be less than what Stern would be getting back, you know? Kind of like playing with the words a little bit. And if you're not smart, you wouldn't catch something like that, or if you don't have somebody else. But James had caught it. He spoke to Tate about it, and Tate made sure he brought it up, and he had to fix it. So he let him know when he saw him at the gala that it was fixed, and he would be able to go ahead and, you know, kind of do his thing now. And they would be able to work together. But he says you need to know who you can trust. Funny he says that because James meets up with Tate later on, and Tate introduces him to some black dude, and they kind of was speaking in tongues, but you can, not tongues, but they was kind of speaking in code, but you can tell that something ain't right with him. Like, he's just not really fully legit. It seems like he's part of the drug game, because he introduces him to this dude, and the dude looks at him like mad square, like on some gangster joint, walking in the tux. And he was just like, all right, well, you know, I helped you with Stern. Now you're going to have to reciprocate. So I'm like, damn. This dude probably knows about, like, you know, ghosts or whatever. And probably Rashad is, there we go, one of those dudes at the top that's just not really legit. That's just, like, doing what they want to do. You know, and just kind of using the councilman thing as a cover-up. Andre feels that he now has the advantage, and he ends up getting himself fired from working with Tommy. He just kind of is just like, yo, I'm out. And he was like, you know, go ahead, like, do what you need to do. And he makes it seem like Tommy was kind of firing him, but that's exactly what he wanted at the end of the day. It was funny when you seen, there was, at the gala, like, just going back to the gala, when you seen James and Angela just kind of, like, look at each other, you could see all the love in their eyes and that they haven't really gotten over each other. She ends up leaving early because I guess she just didn't want to get too caught up in everything. But you can see how the way that they looked at each other, there was so much love in the air. There was so much that they were thinking about that they wanted to say, but they didn't. But he did definitely, like, apologize to her and just kind of, like, well, not really apologize, but just kind of, like, thank her for everything. Because she legit put her whole career on the line just to save him because she knew that he was innocent. Tommy goes to see Toressi, and they both look so happy to see each other. And Tommy's just like, wow, like, you look like an older version of me. And he was like, you know, is there anything I can do for you? How you doing right now? He was like, yeah, you know what? There actually is something you can do. So I'm pretty sure that he's going to try to help him because right now he's in a bind with this whole thing that he got going on. You know, he's pretty much in a bind, and he needs to try to find a way to get out of it. So that's what he's gonna try to do. And it looks like he's gonna ask his father somehow to help him out to get out of that. So the cop, he ends up going to Tyriq's school dance to talk to him, but pretty much you already know there's no talking with these types of dudes. Like, These are the dudes, once again, that's at the top, that's in law enforcement, that's whatever, but they're all crooked. So he goes to see him, and he just kind of tells him, he tries to talk to him, but Tyriq runs away. Then Raina, being wild, he should come outside, and she sees the dude, and she tells him, like, oh, you need to stay away from my brother. I know who you are, Ray Ray. And I'm like, oh, she's saying too much. Like, girl, what are you doing? You can't mess with these. But she don't know about this life because she's still innocent compared to Tyriq. Like, Tyriq is the one that's been around this. He knows what to say and what not to say, and when to run, when not to run. You know, what kind of dude this dude really is. And she's just like, just leave him alone. My father will kill you. And I'm just like, oh my God. As soon as she says that, dude takes out his gun, straight shoots her in the chest. I'm just like, and runs away. Here comes Tyriq, you know, because he saw the whole thing. He was just kind of like in the cut, in the corner, like just pretty much hiding. And she's over here defending him. It's funny because earlier that day, she was like, she knows that he's going to Connecticut to this elite school. And even though she was the one who brought it up, she's, I guess for some reason, I didn't hear why, but she's not going, but he is. And he was just like, she told him that this is the first time that they're not going to be at the same school or anything like that. Or not even at the same school, but this is the first time that they're not going to be together for their birthday. And he was like, yeah, you know, I never really thought about that. And it's crazy because now they're never going to have another birthday together because she's straight dead. You know, he came over. He just kind of looked at her. I think he touched her, but it looks like she's gone. Like there's just mad blood coming out and no way to like really save her. I mean, he just looked like he's in shock right now, you know, and that's probably going to haunt him forever. And like I was saying last week, it looks like the kids are pretty much going to be casted off because that's what it pretty much seems like. I mean, lucky for them, they have another daughter, but that doesn't replace a daughter. You know what I mean? That doesn't replace that you had twins in the beginning. And now she's gone. So this is going to really F up Ghost because you know how he feels about his kids. Like, his kids are his world, like, over everything. That's what he, like, does everything for. That's what he lives for right now. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm interested to see how this is all going to turn out now that things kind of went this way. But, thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And let me know what you thought down below. We got one more episode to go. Stay fabulous, live free, and soar limitless. I'll see you in the next one.